The movie opens with Josh sitting with Dalton in the office of a psychiatrist, Dr. Carl. He is also surrounded with his wife and mother. He is there to forget everything that has happened in the last year. To be precise, he is there with his son so that they can forget everything about the further. 9 years have passed, Josh's mother has passed away and Josh and his wife Renee are separated. They as a family are attending the burial of his mother. Dalton is reading from Ecclesiastes at his grandma's burial. After the ceremony, Josh wants to talk to Dalton, as their relationship is strained, but Dalton does not pay much attention to him. Talking to Renee, she tells him that he should go with Dalton to drop him to college next week. That will give them some time together to heal their relationship. While leaving the cemetery, Josh sees someone who he thinks he knows and calls him. He meets him. The person tells him his name is Carl and he was a friend of their mother. Josh could not remember his old psychiatrist as his memories were suppressed. In the car he messages Dalton if he can come to drop him. Dalton agrees. In the car, Josh tries to talk to Dalton but he is busy with his book and phone, and does not talk much. Reaching college, they walk towards the hostel when someone hands Josh an invitation to freshers party. They both reach his assigned room and Josh helps him arrange it. Josh appreciates his drawings, and tells Dalton he is sorry for not being able to give time to him, as lately, he does not feel too good in himself. Dalton's roommate enters, and they are surprised to know it's a girl, as they thought Chris was a boy's name, so probably his roommate was a boy. Chris goes back to the office to check. While she is gone, Josh tells Dalton to go check out the party. Dalton tells him he just does not know him at all. They both have an argument and Josh leaves. Sitting in his car, he is sad for how his son feels about him, and he should have not reacted the way he did. In the evening, Dalton and Chris talk about the weird things in their lives. Where he tells her he does not remember one whole year of his life when he was age 10. His parents tell him he was in coma and never talk about that year. Next morning, Josh sends Dalton a voice note saying, "Like you said, I am going to take help and find out what's wrong with me." In the art class, Dalton's teacher is impressed by his style of drawing, and when the class is told to draw, he unconsciously draws a door on the canvas, and suddenly from within a hand comes to grab his hand, making his hand to bleed. And when he looks at the painting, he could see his blood draining down from it. On the other side, Josh goes to see a doctor to do a scan for his brain. When he lies down in the machine, the lights go off and in the dark he sees a demon crawling towards him. He shouts to come out, but all the lights are on again and he finds himself in the machine. The doctor comes in, listening his screams. Josh complains how he got stuck in there and the lights went off. But the doctor tells him nothing like that happened and he was fast asleep for last 15 minutes. Looking at his reports, the doctor tells him his scans are normal, and for the problem he is facing with his memories, he asks him if he has any family history of mental illness. Josh tells him he is unaware of it, but he will certainly check it. In the evening, Dalton comes back to his dorm. He opens his drawing and starts to clean it, and hangs it on the wall and goes to sleep. In the mid of the night, when he gets up, he sees the light in his room has turned red from yellow. When he examines, he sees blood on the light bulb. Suddenly the door opens and Chris enters the room. The lights in the room are yellow again and he feels as if he was dreaming. Chris finds the invite to the party in the room and tells him they should go and have some fun. They go to the party where their host Nick invites everyone and jokingly tells everyone that a kid killed himself here long time back. In one of the bathrooms, Dalton hears someone puking. He, being considerate, opens the door to ask the guy if needs some help. The guy turns his blood-stained face towards him and tell him to close the door. Suddenly, Nick opens the door of the room and enters, but Dalton hides himself, but to his astonishment, when Nick goes into the same bathroom, no one is there. Nick leaves and when Dalton opens the bathroom door again, the same kid pukes on him. Scared, Dalton falls on the floor and Chris comes in the room looking for him, but she sees no one other than him. They come back to the dorm, where Dalton informs her, lately he is seeing things. He saw the dead kid in the house, and this all started from his art class, after he drew the door painting. Chris shows Dalton, Specs and Tucker videos, who explain how astral projection works. Below their video they find a clip of Elise Rainier, talking about astral projections and the further. She explains some people have the capability to do astral projection, where their soul can leave their body and travel into another realm called the further, where tormented souls are roaming. These souls smell life and can come to this world into that body, which has left its soul, and the further you travel in that realm the less chances are there of you to come back. Listening to her, Dalton tells Chris he needs to go back to Nick's house and do astral projection there and meet that kid's ghost, as he feels he was trying to tell him something. They go to Nick's house, and in the same room, Dalton does astral projection and Chris looks after his body. His soul leaves his body and he starts to look for the kid's ghost. But suddenly hears Chris's screams, and when he reaches back to the room, he sees the blood-stained, red-faced demon trying to kill Chris. He gets back into his body and saves Chris. Chris, who is scared, now warns him to never do astral projection again. Dalton calls his brother Foster, and tells him that he is having weird dreams. Does he know anything similar? Foster tells him he has a weird image in his head that they are in basement and their father is trying to kill them, but Mom has been telling him always that it is just his imagination. This spurs Dalton's memory. He runs to his room and finishes his painting. Outside the door in the painting, he draws a possessed Josh's face. Same day, while Josh is doing his memory exercise at home, he is attacked by a man. Scared, he runs to his room. But when comes out he does not find anyone. When he searches his family photos, he finds that the person who attacked him was his own father. Josh starts to look in his father's medical records and finds he had schizophrenia and he killed himself. He goes to meet Renai, and asks her, "My father is long gone 40 years. Then why is he terrorizing him now?" She tells him his father was able to do astral projections. But he thought the things he was seeing were because of some mental illness. She also tells him he and Dalton could also do astral projections too. One time when Josh got possessed, he attacked his own family. And that's why they had to erase his and Dalton's memories. And this was the reason she got separated from him, to save her children. And maybe now his father is trying to reach out to him. While they are talking, Foster enters the room, and shows them Josh's picture with the red door that Dalton sent him. And tells them Dalton is having nightmares. Josh and Renai understand that Dalton is in danger. Josh prepares himself to go in the further to save his son. A distressed Dalton is pulled into the further. He reaches back in time to find himself in the basement, where his younger self and his brother are with their mom, and Josh, who is possessed, wants to kill them. He tackles Josh before he could kill his younger self, but while doing so, he is transported into the red-faced demon's lair. When Dalton's soul is in the lair, the demon enters his body and attacks Chris in real life. Josh reaches inside the further, and looks for Dalton and frees his soul from the shackles. As the demon knows Dalton's soul is free, it rushes back, leaving behind Dalton's body. Josh and Dalton run from it, but Josh stays to keep the door closed. Dalton reaches inside his body. And he paints over the picture of the door with black color to keep it closed permanently. When the door is closed, Josh meets his father's spirit, who guides him back to the world, and his soul reaches his body. He leaves Renai's house, who invite him for dinner on the weekend. Near his car he meets Elise Rainier's spirit, who tells him he and his son has a very bright future. Josh goes to meet Dalton, where Dalton presents him with a picture of Josh carrying a young Dalton out of the further. In post-credit scene, light flickers over the red door. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to watch latest and interesting movies. And please write in comments movies you want to see.